Hello there, you're now with me, Handy Gui, and welcome to your 5 p.m. English news on TVS. Let's dive into the headlines for today. A total of 407,097 candidates will be sitting for the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM 2021 written examination starting this Wednesday, March 2nd until March 29th. The Minister of Education, MOE, in a statement today said 50,154 invigilators have been appointed to ensure the smooth running of the examination, which will be held at 3,382 examination centres nationwide.
The ministry reminded all candidates to refer to the SPM examination timetable for information on the date, time, code, papers, as well as instructions that need to be followed during the examination. Additionally, candidates are required to bring along their identification cards and examination registration slips to the centres. While observing the guidelines issued by the Ministry on the operations of schools and examinations, as well as the standard operating procedures on COVID-19 prevention as issued by the National Security Council and Health Ministry to curb the spread of the virus. The examination timetable can be downloaded from the official website of the Examination Syndicate LP, while the guidelines can be downloaded from the MOE's official portal.
Effective March 1st, the Malaysian driving license LMM for commercial vehicles of the existing Class E licenses, namely E2, E1 and E, will be merged into one Class E license. The merger would simplify matters and save time as well as open up wider employment opportunities for individuals as commercial vehicle drivers, especially in a post-COVID-19 pandemic period.
Kita mula dengan 1 Mac, kita gabungkan jadi satu. Bagi mereka, ada pilihan dalam tempoh 5 tahun, yang ada E1, E2, dia boleh melalui satu program peralihan. Terus convert. Ya. Saya rasa pemandu dia akan faham lah. Dulu susah. Nak cari pemandu tak boleh. Berat sikit tak tahu siapa boleh mandu. Bila mandu kena sama. Jadi saya rasa ini akan sekaligus memudahkan urusan. Kerana sebelum tu dikontrol untuk SME kita pun dah benarkan. Jadi tak ada isu. Bukan soal kompetensi lagi. Tapi kita dengar pandangan rakyat bila berlakunya kekeliruan sebegini, maka kita kena melakukan sesuatu dan saya rasa ini satu dasar yang akan memberi manfaat kepada mereka.
The e-license involves a motor vehicle with BTM exceeding 7,500 kilograms, E1 not exceeding 7,500 kilograms, and E2 not exceeding 5,000 kilograms. Adding further, he said existing E1 and E2 license holders would have to undergo a transition program to obtain the E-license. Applications start from the effective date of March 1st, and the individuals involved are given a period of 5 years to go through it. The transition program will also be offered to vocational license holders in Class E1 and E2 to get the Class E vocational license.
As of February 27th, over 840,000 or 23.8% of children aged 5 to 11 years old have been inoculated via the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for Kids, or PICKIDS. This is a milestone achievement for the country, and the data was presented via the COVID Now website.
For the booster shots, over 14.5 million or 62% of the adult population have been administered. The country is nearing completion of getting all of the adult population inoculated with primary vaccines, where 97.5% have completed their 2-dose vaccination regime, while 98.7% have received at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. For teenagers aged between 12 to 17, more than 2.8 million or 90% of the said group have completed their primary vaccination regime, whilst 93% received their first dose. The total cumulative administered dose stands at 67,089,834 doses.
Now on to some global affairs. President Putin put Russia's nuclear forces on high alert in a dramatic escalation of East-West tensions after Ukraine invasion, following aggressive statements by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO leaders and economic sanction against Moscow.
Уважаемые коллеги, вы видите, что западные страны предпринимают не только недружественные действия в отношении нашей страны в экономической сфере, я имею в виду нелегитимные санкции, о которых все хорошо знают, но высшие должностные лица ведущих стран НАТО допускают и агрессивные высказывания в адрес нашей страны. Поэтому приказываю министру обороны и начальнику генерального штаба перевести силы сдерживания российской армии в особый режим несения боевого дежурства.
Western powers protested sharply after Putin announced Russia's deterrence forces were placed into a special mode of combat service. The United Nations called the idea of nuclear weapons used inconceivable, while Ukraine's government said it saw the move as an intimidation attempt as delegations from both countries
said Malaysia was ranked 13 out of 122 countries in the Nikkei Asia's COVID-19 Recovery Index, and the National COVID-19 Immunization Program has successfully achieved complete vaccination coverage of up to 98% of the adult population.
As a defensive measure against the threat of new variants, Sultan Abdullah also urged all Malaysians to get the booster dose of COVID-19 vaccine. To maintain immunity at the optimal level and as a defensive measure against the threat of new variants, the King calls upon the people to get the booster dose under the ongoing immunization program implemented by the government.
Walaupun negara kini semakin bersedia untuk beralih ke fasa endemik, BETA berharap agar peralihan ini dilaksanakan secara berhati-hati.
Sultan Abdullah also commended the national COVID-19 testing strategy and the government's affirmative action to reduce the price of self-test kits as a measure of strengthening public health and community empowerment. Through this approach, he said that the reopening of the economic and social sectors can be realized safely. His Majesty also expressed his appreciation for the National Vaccine Development Roadmap, or PPVN, including the strategy to develop Malaysia's very own vaccine as an effort to increase the country's level of preparedness in facing the current pandemic and other pandemic threats in the future.
Beta menyeru kepada rakyat Beta untuk terus memelihara kesihatan termasuklah kesihatan mental dan sentiasa mengamalkan budaya hidup sihat bagi menjayakan matlamat agenda nasional Malaysia Sihat.
Apart from that, Al-Sultan Abdullah also lauded the National Mental Health Strategic Plan 2020 to 2025, which is designed to address the mental health issues of the people, especially those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, through various intervention measures and assistance to those affected. He said so in the royal address when gracing the opening of the first meeting of the 5th session of the 14th Parliament on Monday. Additionally, His Majesty have also expressed his appreciation towards the government's hasty response in aiding those who were greatly affected by the flood in 2021, where a total of 1.4 billion ringgit was channeled directly, apart from the 6 billion ringgit allocation to repair public infrastructure and facilities.
And that concludes the 5 p.m. English news on TVS. As usual, don't forget to tune in for the Nightline at 11:30 p.m. With that, I'm Handy Gui. Stay safe and have a pleasant day.